Hello everybody, my name's Lisa Driscoll and I'm from the Department of Educational Leadership. And this is one of my favorite paintings, and it essentially says we are but dwarfs standing on the shoulder of giants, pushing beyond what is known and inventing the future. I got interested in what does the ed finance discipline look like. Well, here's how it traditionally looks. It started in 1905, went on through to 2015. A lot of my best friends have pictures, but it's very sequential and very linear in its depiction. This depiction does not show the unique shared relationships among investigators. Another way to look at the growth in the education finance discipline is publications. And you can see for the first roughly 50 years, we were a little bit on the slow side, but in '65, we took off and we have been accelerating ever since. Interestingly, I decided to get into each of these publications. Imagine an article published in 1930 that references 3 other articles. The blue articles are assumed to be co-cited by the red article. This co-citation goes forward into perpetuity. Now, imagine 2 other articles cite the 1930s red article. They are 2 citing 1. They are bibliographically coupled. They have the 1930 article in both their bibliographies. They go forward in perpetuity. Finally, imagine another article, 1950, that cites the bibliographic coupled articles, which cites the article co-cited. This is indicative of a research frontier. If you decide to erase or gray out some of the work, after a while you have a pattern that shows up in lit review after lit review after lit review. And in time, this pattern becomes the knowledge base in the discipline. Now, for better or worse, we've left out these other articles. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But nevertheless, the discipline doesn't acknowledge them. The problem with this is an exclusivity in the discipline that does not acknowledge all the work. Here's an example of the kind of work I do. Imagine a seminal article in red. The blue articles are bibliographically coupled to it. The yellow, green, orange, brown, and so on are co-citation. This looks like a mess, especially if you have 1,700 articles. You can easily simplify this graph by only looking at the co-citation. It takes out the blue, essentially direct citation or coupled articles, but it makes very easy work in analyzing. Here's an example of about 1,700 of my favorite articles in the education finance discipline. I love this, I love this. The thing I want you to notice is on the right side of the diagram, you notice the red is a higher ed subdiscipline, the blue is a social justice subdiscipline, and the magenta is the other color. On this, adequacy is a major research interest in K through 12. All the citations are in K through 12. A little bit goes outside the discipline, maybe to higher ed, but not much. On the higher ed side, the discipline is a little further, a little more branched in the K through 12, but still largely segregated. This indicates a rift between higher ed and K through 12, social justice and economics with education finance. Very dangerous indeed. This is another author's co-citation, but it's a time stamped. The blue stands for the old stuff. The red is the new stuff. Notice there's a lot of blue stuff, a little bit of orange stuff, but not much else. On this diagram, you get into more of a close-up. You can see Murray in 1998 in the center. And keep an eye on her, because it looks like she only cites within her subdiscipline. But As you'll see in a minute, she is very egalitarian. She cites all over the place. Her co-citers are from everywhere. She's a sleeping beauty because her work didn't get noticed until well after she published it. Here is a diagram showing on the left the major part of our discipline, and on the right you have some isolated subgroups of the discipline. In the middle you have the connectors. They are very valuable researchers. They keep the groups all together. In the end, these connectors end up being highly cited. Here is one of the islands. You have George Sakharopoulos, Walt McMahon. They've written over 40 years in their area, and this island may go underwater as there are no new researchers. This is one of my most frightening slides. This slide shows the current state of the field. Blue is old. This is the research front. Blue is old, no red. I'm terrified. I'm frightened. This is our discipline. There's no new work. Is this a sign of a canary in the coal mine? I don't know, but we have a lot of work to do in our discipline to bring in new emerging thoughts. Thank you.